Have you ever heard people say, "Your shoulder and entire arm must be in line with the shot"? Or, "A good way to find your ideal stance is to see where the cue points naturally when standing"? Well, as I will clearly show in this video, advice like this is not always good. Instead, I will show techniques that will help you find your personal best stance and stroke. Let's first look at the questionable cue pointing trick. You first find the balance point of the cue by supporting it on your finger. Then hold your arms straight down in relaxed positions with the cue in your grip hand at the balance point. Then move your feet to turn your body until the cue points in the desired shot direction. Supposedly, this approach gives you the best body alignment for your stance. For me, it gives a very closed stance, requiring back and neck twisting to get my head in the right place. One problem with the approach is, where the cue wants to point naturally while down on your stance might be different from where it points naturally while standing. Most people have their shoulder pulled back more when down in their stance as compared to when standing naturally. As I show here, if your shoulder is pulled back, the cue points in a totally different direction. Here, the result is a much more open stance, which feels more natural and comfortable to me. This shows how the natural angle of the cue can change as you get down into your stance. The same thing happens if you pull your shoulder back when already down in your stance. My personal best stance is fairly open, where I face the shot more. It allows me to get my head in the right place without discomfort or strain. It also allows me to stroke straight naturally. Did you notice that my shoulder is not in the plane of the shot? More on that later. Here are the main requirements for a good stance. To get the cue along the desired shot line, to have your personal vision center aligned over the cue with your face as square as possible, and to be able to stroke straight without body interference. For good advice on how to do all of this, see the resource pages linked below in the video description or pinned comment. The videos, articles, illustrations, explanations, and links cover everything in great detail. Here's my personal best stance as an example. My cue is pointing in the correct direction. My personal vision center and face are aligned properly, and I am able to stroke straight without body interference. The shot we just saw is a good way to test your stance and stroke. Place the balls along the diagonal of the table with the object ball at the midpoint between the cue ball and pocket to make the shot a challenge. Then attempt to hit stop shots repeatedly. I have the cue ball and object ball positions marked with donuts to make it easy to quickly and accurately respot the balls. Strive to get at least 10 successful shots in a row where the cue ball stops within one ball of the ghost ball position on each shot. And ideally, don't quit until you get at least one perfect stop shot like this. Remember from my recent draw shot video that low and slow is the way to go for best stop shot control. Be sure to stay still and down after each shot so you can check if the cue went straight. After the shot, the cue should be directly over the cue ball donut, pointing at the object ball donut and pocket. Here's one of my earlier shots where my aim or stroke was not perfectly straight, with the tip finishing slightly to the right of the cue ball donut. Did you see the slight right spin on the cue ball? My initial aim and tip alignment looked good, so I must have steered my stroke slightly to the right. Always try to diagnose and learn from your misses. Now let's look at how to find your natural stroking plane. An approach better than the cue pointing trick shown earlier is to hang your arms straight down while in your stance posture. Then let your arms swing back and forth as relaxed and loose as possible to find your natural stroking plane. If you move your feet to turn your body until the stroking plane is aligned with the desired shot direction, this will give you a good starting point for a natural stance position. When I do this, I arrive at a stance that is open, facing the shot without excessive back or neck twist. Here's a view of the same process from behind. Try it out to see how well your current stance positions your arm in your natural stroking plane. My personal best stance video, linked below, can help you find how to stand when down on a shot. The answer is different for each person based on anatomy, flexibility, body shape and size, and any physical limitations you might have. I've placed some tape on the floor to show the line of the shot and the perpendicular to this line. Old school books and instructors might say the ball of your back foot needs to be on the shot line at a 45-degree angle to the line, with your front foot forward and out to the side at 45 degrees, pointing in the direction of the shot line, with the feet a little more than a shoulder width apart. Again, this advice might not be best for you as an individual. For example, if you are duck-footed, the angles of your feet should probably be wider like this. And if you are pigeon-toed, your feet might point in more like this. And if you are tall like me and prefer a more open stance with your arm in its natural stroking plane, your stance might look more like this. Notice how my right foot is well outside of the shot line. This is what's best for me, regardless of what any old school book or instructor might say. Again, don't try to force your feet, body, shoulder, and arm into unnatural positions. If you are straining to form a stance, your stroke will probably not be straight or consistent. Some people might also need to modify their stance if they have a large belly or chest. Even though I am a skinny male, I thought I would do my best to simulate these differences. A pillow under my shirt gives me an ample belly. With a textbook closed stance, my grip hand hits my large belly. This isn't a problem if the hit occurs after cue ball contact, but it is a problem if you try to steer your stroke around your belly, which could happen unintentionally. Opening the stance instead, there is plenty of clearance, even during the follow-through. Now I'll simulate a large chest with the help of some air packaging. I apologize in advance for anybody out there who might be offended or excited by this. Hello, my eyes are up here. Again, a closed stance can cause the grip hand to strike your anatomy. But opening the stance can provide clearance. Now let's return to the shoulder alignment discussion. Again, some old school books and instructors might tell you your shoulder should be in line with the shot. Well, this is not the best advice for everybody. As I showed earlier, when I am in my personal best stance with my forearm in the natural swing plane, my shoulder is well outside of the shot line. But this is the position that allows me to be the most accurate with the most comfort and stability. Again, always do what works best for you as an individual, regardless of what some book or instructor might say. For me to get my shoulder on the shot line, I need to close my stance and pull my shoulder back. This results in lots of back and neck twisting, which is uncomfortable and caused problems for me in the past. It also takes my arm out of my natural stroking plane that I showed earlier. If you have discomfort or physical ailments resulting from the stance you use, check out the pool physical therapy and exercise videos at the link below. The advice there can help you avoid or fix these issues. Regardless of where your shoulder and upper arm might be, one thing that does help with a straight stroke is having your forearm vertical. I am lined up with the cue along the cushion line on the rail with a mirror so you can see both my forearm and stroke straightness. With my forearm vertical in my natural stroking plane, it is easy to keep the stroke straight. Notice the tip moving along the cushion line. If your elbow is instead tucked in, the cue will not go straight with a pendulum stroking motion. Notice how the tip goes right on the backstroke and left during the follow-through. If your elbow is out instead, in a chicken wing position, the stroke is also crooked. Notice how the tip goes left on the backstroke and right during the follow-through. Because many people slump their shoulders during computer work and mobile device screen time, a chicken wing alignment is common. Here's an exaggerated version. One thing that can help overcome this is what I call locking and loading the shoulder by pulling it back and keeping it there. If you have a chicken wing problem, either in your stance or during your stroke, try locking and loading the shoulder before getting down into your stance and keep it that way during the stroke. If you want or need more help with your stance, stroke, or vision center alignment, visit the links below in the video description or pinned comment. The videos, articles, and links there cover everything in great detail. Be sure to take advantage of all these free resources. And as always, good luck with your game from Dr. Dave.